September 3rd, 2011. Okay, there's two things I want to talk about on this blog post. First off, I've been hearing a rumor that there's an actual episode of Season 2 intact, but it's a majority incomplete fan restoration. Why would this show have fans? How incomplete? Like 90% incomplete. The rumor states that it was the very first episode of Season 2 called Camp Ah. In it starts with the intro, as always, but with some differences. First off, Happy didn't dance in the intro, but starred the new main characters, sort of like the CSI crime scene investigation intro. After that, it cut to a scene where Appy is in his van, but there are two friend S in the passenger seats. The girls are only clay heads on sticks, like Happy. After driving for a while, Happy parks in the camp, gets a washcloth, and sits on it, as well as the girls. They just sit there staring at the sky. After a few seconds, another apple appears, sort of like one of those beach bullies you see in any movies that has teenagers in the beach. And Happy says, "Move it, ladies!" Although the quality makes it sound like, "Movie it, ladies!" The second thing is that Appy does not have an IMDb page. The page some people are mistaken is for actually a TV show called The Happy Apple. I couldn't understand why people would think it would be related to Happy Appy. Happy Apple being the rarely used full title of Happy Appy, but it's from the 1980s. How can you confuse a TV show from the 80s about an insurance company with a Nick Jr. TV show from the 1990s that has imagery of 9/11? September 4th, 2011. Earlier today, I received an email about Happy Appy and the Golden Apple. It was from the person on eBay that I bought the game from. He said that he left out a sound file for the game and sent it to me. It was an MP3 file that was 1 minute long. I played it and no sound came out. It was almost 0 bytes in size, so I deleted it thinking it was just a blank sound file. I was wrong. Remembering that it was still my recycle bin, I looked at my there and luckily figured out that I had not emptied it. I am now trying to decode it. September 5th, 2011. When I first tried to decode it, I just heard static. Then I tried reversing it, changing the pitch, and adding volume with successful results. At first, it was just the sound of Happy Appy laughing, not just a regular laugh, but a scary, hurting, and painful laugh. Then Happy started screaming and you could hear someone in the background laughing now. Again, it sounded like the person that was laughing and killing someone, but was also injured. I think that it was a child struggling against Happy trying to kill him, but that's just a guess. September 6, 2011. After 12 pages of a Google search, I found someone who said that they were a survivor of the staff who made Happy Appy. I was so excited and got their address so I could meet them in person. I took a long way because the directions they gave me required me to go through a lonely dirt road, and I thought that I would get my shoes dirty. Hey, can't be too cautious, can I? Well, anyway, I was at an angle where I could see the person who was standing near his house. I was right about to yell out to them, but I got a closer look and freaked out. It was Forensic, standing near the house right behind the corner of a building. I was supposed to pass. If I had passed it, Forensic would have caught me off guard and stabbed me to death. I don't know why Forensic set this up, but he is definitely out to get me. He was still looking at the way that I was supposed to have come through and then quickly checking his watch, so he didn't see me yet. He was a human. He was wearing this weird gas mask, looking as if it were for decoration. His arms were bone skinny and looked like he needed to put on 20 pounds to be considered underweight. He started getting more and more nervous and thinking that I wasn't going to show up. I decided to run off and tell you about this near-death experience because it will probably happen more and more often. September 7, 2011. Since I was freaked out by Forensic and it is nearing 9/11, I decided to check out the Towers episode again. When I played it, I heard the faint whining noise in the background of the recording, and I instantly recognized it a quieter version of the decoded sound I was talking about 2 days ago. I don't know why that sound was in there, but it was. I still can't imagine out what video matches with that audio clip. September 8th, 2011. I realized. It must be Forensic and Happy Appy fighting! I figured it out when I was getting my groceries. Because of that encounter, I carry a switchblade with me at all times when I go out of my house, just to be on the safe side. I saw a police car with its lights on and sirens blaring on my way home, and decided to follow it. When it stopped, I saw Forensic drop a gun and something red and ran away. I left to Belize to run after him and looked at the red thing. It was an apple with a face on it. The Happy Appy figure! I could have sworn I saw its mouth moving, but I was so freaked out that I'm not sure. I went back home and looked for the Happy Appy figure, and it was gone. Forensic must have broken into my house while I was out and stolen Happy Appy from me. September 9th, 2011. I'm not sure how, but maybe the audio was in a different episode of Happy Appy in the planned future and got mixed up when they were putting sound files in. I really have no clue why Forensic was fighting with Happy Appy. Was he around when Happy Appy was being made and put himself in one of the episodes because he was in the staff? Or was he just infamous around that time and the makers decided that he was perfect material? I really still can't put this together. Today, I also read the news and discovered that a crazed maniac was arrested after a robbery at a gun store, a home break-in, use of weaponry without a permit, and evading arrest. Sometimes I ask myself why I chose to get involved in Happy Appy. September 10th, 2011. Well, tomorrow's the 10th anniversary of 9/11. I had lots of thoughts in my head today. Will I be visited Forensic again, or will I have a normal day for once? Will my house burn down again, or will I be murdered in my sleep? I am not going to make a post on September 11th, but on September 12th. Oh, and here's another revision of the list with Season 2's unreleased episode, and the duets probably listed. Season 1. Happy's Vacation. Hurt Happy. The Monkey Bar Injury. Happy Goes to School. Nate Needs Help. Never Run with Knives. Happy Fixes Kids. Happy Fixes Kids, Part 2. Happy Fixes Kids, Part 3. The Two Towers. Happy the Doctor. Mean Miranda. Happy's Trick. Possible second half of duet. The Happy Appy Movie, Part 1. The Happy Appy Movie, Part 2. Season 2. Happy meets the Rubiers. Camp Ah. Possibly vice versa. September 11, 2011. I know I'm not supposed to make a post on September 11th, but I just had to get this out. Last night, a certain someone went on my computer today. Luckily, the only things that Forensic did were add a couple of, 3 to be exact, photos and a badly distorted sound clip. The images were made today during 2:20 and 2:30 a.m., while the sound clip was made on April 9th, 2005. Odd. All the images were most likely made using Paint.net, since I do not have a fancy art program like Photoshop, and I removed MS Paint from my computer. I have Paint.net, had the file name Image1 to Image3, and all were badly drawn, but I expected that because Forensic has a gas mask on, and he has long fingers not fit to use my mouse. The first image was Happy Appy during the natural scene from the Towers episode. It was done on a black pencil brush due to me knowing a lot about paint, and seemed to take the least amount of time to do. The second image is the only one that does not show a person or thing. It is in fact a portion of the song, "They're coming to take me away, ha ha!" I wonder what is the connection between Napoleon XIV and Happy Appy Forensic? Is it that they're both disturbing to listen to? The final image is more disturbing than the rest. Forensic stands next behind a black background, which has "How are you?" in red. This photo is the most interesting because it shows a shot of Forensic that's actually more high quality than the other photo I took of him, even though it's quite bland, showing his long pale neck and his unusual gas mask with red eyes and a Happy Appy grin. Yet no filters. Maybe they're on the back of his head. Oh yes! About the sound clip, it starts with a bunch of ambience that sounds like it would belong in a factory. Metal banging, steam blowing, all that stuff. It might be possible that it is just some distortion, but then I heard a person walking, kicking over an empty tin can. I suddenly heard a noise that sounded like someone beginning to say, "Stop!" before it goes to static for the rest of the clip. I assume it's Forensic killing someone, which is most likely. September 12, 2011. Today was one of the worst days I have ever had, but at the same time, it was also one of the best. To start off, I was coming home after getting late-night groceries on September 11th, when I noticed Forensic was crossing the road to my house. I decided to run him over, so I sped up and had the car hit him at full force. I heard a couple of bones breaking and I knew I must have injured or possibly killed him. So I got out of my car and to my surprise, I couldn't find Forensic. Although he made a trail of blood which pointed to where he went. So I followed the blood. The trail led me to the nearby forest, a couple of miles out of town. I had doubts about it. Forensic had ran off into the woods and is probably ready to attack me. If I go too deep into it, I put those aside, because I knew I had one thing to do. I had to kill Forensic, so I got my switchblade from the car and went into the forest. The blood led down a dirt trail that would take anyone who followed it to an abandoned summer camp. The summer camp was opened in 1996 as John Wilkinson Summer Camp. The owner of the summer camp was John Wilkinson, a 35-year-old man who had schizophrenia for years. It was a very popular summer camp. Even people all the way from Maine come here. Unfortunately, in 2004, John Wilkinson's schizophrenia reached a peak in round 2 in the night. John got an axe, went into the log cabins, and killed 6 children before disappearing. The case remains cold to this day. So I went to the first cabin, A. The cabin series are A, 16-18-year-olds, B, 13-15-year-olds, C, 10 through 12-year-olds, and D, 7 to 9-year-olds. It looked like a regular cabin, minus the fact that blood was on the walls, beds were undone, and some of the wood was rotting. Oh, and there was an axe stuck on the wall. Obviously, since an axe is a better weapon than a switchblade, I took the axe. I then went to B and axed the door down. It was the same as A. Axed down C's door, still the same as A. Finally, I axed down D's door. As I walked in, I noticed the sound of a generator running. After turning the lights on, I was horrified. On the walls were the mutilated bodies of Kevin Costo, Blair Mays, and Miranda, held up by hooks. Then behind me, I heard a slithering voice. "Do you like my trophies?" I jumped and turned around. It was Forensic, with a butcher knife. He was wearing a black robe and his trademark gas mask. "Go on, take a closer look." When he said that, I was both horrified and intrigued. I decided to walk up to the body of Kevin Costo. It had 3 slices marks on his chest, and the skin on his face was half gone. His jaw was positioned to make it look like he was laughing. I had to do something. There was a broken mirror next to Kevin's body. I picked it up and saw Forensic in the chair, sharpening a knife. "So, you found me at last. Congratulations." "What the hell did you do with them?" I screamed. It seemed like the only thing I could say. "Well, since you asked, I will tell you what I did. They were people who had annoyed me to a certain extent. Kevin Costo kept calling me slow and retarded. So, when you were still watching those 10 episodes, I managed to find him, and so I killed him. I then watched you enter the house with that photo of Appy. "What about Blair Mays and Miranda?" I squeaked. "Blair was the voice of Appy. I had wondered why they get a teenager to voice Appy, even though I should have done that. So who told you about Blair's death? Was it Jim Forrester?" I was shocked, but I slowly nodded my head. Forensic then sharpened another knife. "Finally, Miranda. You see, Appy didn't kill her with his van. He actually killed her with her knife. She was using for self-defense, and I took the body. Go ahead. Get closer to the bodies." Forensic got up the chair and started pushing me forward towards Blair's body. I still had the broken mirror and noticed Forensic was slowly holding up the second knife he sharpened in his left hand to backstab me. "No!" I screamed before taking out the axe and striking his left arm. He screamed in agony while I chopped the arm after chopping off his arm. I grabbed the arm and then ran off. Finally, I found a can of gasoline. I dumped the gasoline all over the house when I was finished. Forensic woke up, grabbing his chopped off arm. Then he realized what I was doing, grabbed his weapons and ran off. I then got a match and burned the cabin down. It felt satisfying to make Forensic homeless. September 13th, 2011. I'm going to take a month-long break from Appy. The reason why is because of family issues. I should have a nice break thanks to me showing Forensic why you should never mess with a man with an axe. I expect to return in mid-October. See you later. October 19th, 2011. Hey guys, I'm back. I should let you all know that any rumors regarding my break are all false. I didn't see Forensic during the break, which makes my life a whole lot more easier. Also, I'll try to find all episodes of Happy Appy. Promise. Jerism.